Welcome back to Forza Horizon 5. I am in the 2019 Ginetta G10 RM. It is a track toy British vehicle. Apparently it's been around for 60 years. It was 60 years as of 2019. So basically this is 65 years this company's been around. I'm going to show you how I tuned it. We're going to take it for a drive. All that good stuff. If you're interested in more Forza Horizon 5 content like videos, shorts, and streams, make sure to subscribe, smash the like button, comment below your favorite part, and let's begin. Also, don't forget to share this video with your friends. So, stock, it is A-Class 769. If we make this all-wheel drive, it goes to S1 Class 801. So, therefore, we don't need to do anything with the engine swap or the aspiration. We're just going to leave them go. We don't need to worry about a front bumper or rear wing. We're going to skip that entirely. Go to tires and rims. Skip the tire compound because it has the best tires. We do not increase the front tire width. However, we do increase the rear tire width to 265 mm. We do not do anything with this. We do not do anything with this. And we definitely don't do anything with this. For the drivetrain, we go to 7-speed. We do not add a driveline. We go straight to the differential and put in a race differential. For the platform handling, we don't need to worry about the brakes. It's already got race brain dampers. Race front and rear anti-roll bars because best stability and stiffness. No chassis, no weight reduction. Jump to the engine. All the way down here, street flywheel. And that is literally it. Now we come over here to custom tuning, and your tire pressure front and rear is going to look like this. There's your gearing. All these guys are going to look like this. It's basically stock. Alignment is going to look like this. Anti-roll bars are going to look like that. Springs front and rear are going to look like that. Ride height front and rear is going to look like that. Rebound stiffness front and rear and bump stiffness front and rear are going to all be 7.0. Downforce don't need because we don't have a front bumper or rear wing on it. We don't need to worry about race brakes because it's already got the best brake system. And then front acceleration, deceleration 50%. Rear acceleration, deceleration 50%. Center for balance is stock at 60%. So we are right now outside the Horizon Baja outpost. We're going to go for a little drive. And we're just going to casually cruise and chit-chat throughout this video. So remember, if you want to see more Forza Horizon 5 content, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and you will see more videos like this. Let's rock and roll! As you may have heard at the top of this video, Ginetta is a really interesting British vehicle, and it has been around for, as of now, 65 years. And the fact that it is a top-tier vehicle at only 2,000 pounds, 2,100 if you make it all-wheel drive, and it's already got a rather cool engine inside. The engine specifics, oh, I want to make that turn. The engine specifics, I'm gonna have to actually look that up, but when I do, I will write in the description below. So this car came a long way from 65 years ago, and it was actually inspired by the Ginetta G55, which is actually the GT4 racing variant from Ginetta that had gone through a lot of races and actually won quite a few races. Ginetta has a great British racing history when it comes to specifically the G55 GT4 of the racing variant of the Ginetta vehicle that participated in those races. Now, when you think about it, really, Ginetta, even though you may not have heard about this thing much, if you take a look on the inside while I try to drive this car, you can see that it's got some really cool inspired vintage parts, such as the tires as well. And also, if you look inside, red leather seats. The Rebel is a very old school classic British car, especially if it was in the British racing green style color format. Now when it came to Ginetta, they went ahead and were like, okay, we have a tiny little car that has so many features jam-packed into one tiny little car that would ultimately outperform any little British car you can think of out there in the world. And it was actually a really cool concept for Ginetta to just go ahead and build this really awesome looking car. And man, let me tell you, they were not joking when they said that they were going to use one of the most coolest setups to build this vehicle, and let me tell you, they weren't kidding. Ginetta basically was inspired by the G55 GT4 off this model to create a racing variant, and when they did that, it was actually breaking lap records, race records, etc., and everybody got super impressed by the fact that they were actually doing that off this model. It was actually highly impressive. If I'm not mistaken, the G55 GT4 had a lot more horsepower than this. This has like 450 horsepower, but it comes off a rather interesting little engine. Ginetta was really thinking hard and thorough when they went ahead to make the racing variant of this specific car, and everybody really loved this particular model and the fact that they actually went ahead to build the racing variant. You know, you're thinking like, okay, how can they do a racing Ginetta, massively, possibly oversized racing engine to combat the Ginetta G10 RM? You go like, okay, wait a minute. First of all, how is this going to be possible? And when they looked at it, they looked over the blueprints, whatever it was, I'm pretty sure they did, because you have to when you want to build a car, whatever the case may be. Ginetta went, we can actually do that. Off the G10 RM, they built the G55 GT4, the racing variant of the Ginetta G10 RM, and it packed a lot more horsepower. The fact that it packed a lot more power than the standard model, which is this guy. And yes, it is a track vehicle. I'm pretty sure they both are. Just one's a casual cruiser and the other one's a racing variant. This is actually rather standard for driving. I mean, it's got the most grippiest tires. The tire compound is literally nuts. And when you really try to think about it, you go like, okay, how do we make this even more interesting than what we can do? Well, pretty simple. Ginetta basically took any little part they could find and actually made it work. But they weren't looking at just any ordinary parts. They were looking at very specific parts that would ultimately go with this vehicle, and they made it into a rather tiny little car that would ultimately make it into one of the most coolest and actually lightest cruiser cars of the UK all these years ago. Now remember, as time went on, the car evolved and it got better with obviously better parts and everything else, all the configurations they can do with it. And all in all, it became a cool little cruiser, and it was just really, really awesome, and you just couldn't mistake any little thing about it. It was really small, and it probably would be able to fit in a garage of two in one garage. I mean, it was literally that small. It is that small. I mean, you think about it this way, honestly. You can hear the motor, the engine running. You have been this entire time. I mean, honestly, there's nothing really wrong with the car. I think it's beautiful as is. Putting in the all-wheel drive, especially when it raises your PI to S1 801, and you gotta raise the rear tire just to bring it down to A-Class 800, that's actually not bad. Even though you're not technically overcompensating, you're just, what, lowering your PI by, what, 1 point? So you make it A-Class, and you want to make it a interesting little all-wheel drive car to drive. You actually were able to take any little thing you could find and be like, okay, I want my Ginetta G10 RM to take me here or whatever. A lot of people were interested with this car. It did a lot for as many people as it did in the time frame of all these years. 65 years. Happy 65th anniversary, Ginetta. So we've arrived at Casabella, one of the houses you get at the start of this game. If you're interested in more Forza Horizon 5 videos, streams, shorts, whatever, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click the bell, smash the like button if possible, and don't forget to share this little video with your friends. I will see you guys in the next video or short or whatever that I may post on my channel. Till then, stay safe, stay awesome. Today's actually Easter, so happy Easter to everybody if you celebrate. Happy Easter, you guys. Bye!